Any day. There we go. Well, I'm not exactly sure um, if the stream's working. I got to make sure before we get started. So I'm going to check that, and in a moment we'll start streaming here. Video manager. Yep, we're working. Okay. So let's go back here. Come on. Once again, if you're on YouTube, you can type in the chat box and I can answer you. Shoot. What I've done here is I've set this up so I don't have to look at my computer. It's on my TV. So here we go.
Need a website for your small business? With Web.com's do-it-yourself.
Gotta have that off, or else you guys will be blasted with here we go. Come on. Unbelievable. I got one watching. Copy video URL. Paste. Oh, I should have put paste and go. Enter. Oh, stupid thing's acting really strange. I don't have my normal Windex, but I have some other type glass cleaner. And I'm on the paint side of the shop, the old side, because I don't want to mess up my floor in there. Let's see, are we? Yep, it's working. So the first thing that I always do is I have sanded this down and got it primed where I think it's close to right. The first thing I'm going to do is we're going to wipe it down a few times with a glass cleaner. I normally use Windex, but I don't have any. And we'll get the primer dust off of this thing. I'm not going to be painting the front. I'm only going to be painting the back half of the airplane today, or at this setting. And we're going to take the flaps off here. Yeah, it's much better. I can see the TV screen from across the room, so I can see the chat box. So that'll work. Hope you guys enjoyed the George Aldrich interview. I asked permission from Bob Hunt to post that. I tried to do the Billy Eyebeam interview, but I got a music strike against me, and I had to take it down and re-edit it because of the video or the music Bob used in his videos. So until I can find some type of ripper that can remove the music, I can't bring that to you. because I don't want to. I don't want to have my channel taken down over something like that. I know it's happened to Paul Taylor a few times on his windy videos. Let's see, do we have anybody watching? Doesn't say. Fastball, 3 people. Okay, great. Go ahead, type in and let me know that you're watching. Any questions or whatever. As I stated in the beginning here, I'm wiping all the primer dust off of this thing. You don't want this to be trapped in the paint. I don't know how much painting experience you guys have, but I will tell you this, you can get some really weird effects if you paint over water. So you got to make sure to get it all off, or else you'll have a problem. I've got a pretty, I really like the way Bob McDonald paints his airplanes. He always has some real nice, aesthetically pleasing designs. Color choice sometimes is not the greatest, but if you look at his apogee, or I can't remember what the heck they call it. It's really appealing. So I'm going to kind of incorporate some of that into this and some of Chris Rudd's paint job, because he did send me the stencils. And I'll be, because of the new software I have, I'll be showing you the screen grabs on that. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share my videos. I notice we're getting a lot of new members in the forum, and that's a good thing. So I've already ran the compressor, and I've got it loaded up. It doesn't normally take more than 1 tank for 1 coat. So I can do this job without running the compressor. I don't have much white left. I've already mixed up my white. It's about, I'd say 60-40. It's very thin. And I'm going to get some paint strainers. So I get a paint strainer and put that in there. And the only reason why I fill this from here is because it's a lot easier to control when filling the paint gun. So we're going to fill this up. Like I say, this is the last of my white until I get some more. Try to keep your guns separate. One gun for white, 1 gun for clear, 1 gun for black or red or whatever color. I know it sounds a little daunting that you got to buy all these paint guns, but ain't nothing like painting a white paint job and have a red speck spit out of the end of the gun, and then you're screwed. So I'll set this on the ground. I'm going to fire up the fan. This is kind of a flow-through work area here. not that it don't really doesn't bother me, you know, too much, so to speak. But I like to get the dust flowing through. So it looks like we have a decent stream yet. I'm going to unwind my hose so I don't have any kinks in it or whatever, so I'm not being pulled in any such direction. Now this gun I'm using is a surprising gun I got from Harbor Freight. It was ultra cheap. I think they mispriced it because it's really good. It's an HVLP gun. And I normally leave thinner in the cup, thinner and or paint. Until I'm done and I know that I'm not going to be painting for a while. So on this particular gun, when this white is done, I will go ahead and clean it up because we're going to change colors. So this is going to be put away. You don't want to put anything away with paint in it. One thing I don't like about these plastic guns is the thinner causes the plastic to swell. So it makes the tops hard to get on and off. I wish they were metal. Bernie Trent sent me a DeVelvis paint gun, but it's pretty big, pretty good size. So when I'm doing these, I always start at the bottom first. Because if you're going to screw up, you might as well screw the bottom up. And we'll just dust on several light coats. I weighed this model to find it right now. If I didn't add another bit of paint on it, it's at 52.8 ounces with all the hardware on it. So we got to keep this, I'm trying to keep this under 56 ounces, so we're not going to have a refrigerator white airplane. So, and then here in a second, when it dries, I'll flip it over and we'll do the other side. I want to get by with the least amount of paint I can get on it. That come out real good. I think what's happened is the thinner paint has started reaching the head. Now I have a Byron Barker paint stand, and I really like it. Except it takes up so much room that I don't put it up. thinking that's going to be good for the first coat. We'll let it dry. I'm going to get the elevators and paint them white. What I have here is forceps. I like using forceps. I'm sure there's other ways to do this and better ways or whatever. Matter of fact, I'm going to set them on the airplane and paint them. That's up, this one is this side. Come on, get on there. I got a piece of dirt in it already. Come on. Giving me a fit. Don't want to go on there. So I will probably just wait to paint those. I guess we could go with another. I see it's already tacked up because I've sprayed it so light with all the thinner in it. It's basically already dry. We go ahead and get another light coat on it, and then I'll flip it over after it dries again. Oh, out of paint. So we've used 2 fluid ounces of paint so far. Most of that being thinner. All kind of dirt in it there I'm going to have to knock off before I paint the other side. It's respectable. So like I say, there's a lot of dirt in it here, but that really doesn't much matter when you're using a lacquer-based type paint, because you can just sand it, and when you clear it and buff it, doesn't mean anything. It helps not to get the dirt in it, but In a shop like that, like this is pretty unavoidable. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like on the screen it's covered. Are there any questions? We've been painting now 20 minutes. So I have to wait for this to dry. I don't know how, this is kind of like a windy video but this is a live stream. I'm not editing this. So you can stay for the entertainment or not. Let's see if I can figure out a way to hold these elevators. Would be nice. Yep, got it figured out. Okay, got a piece of brass tubing. The reason why I got brass is because that's what I have handy. I'm going to cut off about 1 foot. And I'm going to put the forceps on here like so. And in order to hold this, I'm going to have to bend this like so. Now that's pretty slick there. I'll get a piece of tape and tape that, and that's what we have. As a modeler, from time to time, you're going to have to dream stuff up. And then when I paint this, I can put it in a vise to hold it to dry. Okay. That looks pretty good. I see a line that I didn't get out. So we'll let this dry and get the other one set up. Okay. So now I got to do the other one. we're going to need a foot of tubing. I'm going to have to cut that off. I hope this all makes sense to you. I don't know. Does to me. I got 6 watching now. Go ahead and type in the chat box if you want to know anything. We're gonna do a Google Hangout Live. If you you guys have any web cameras, we can all join in on a web conference. Can have up to 12 people for you guys who have webcams. So let me know somehow if you got a webcam. I learned that from the YouTube modelers last night, how to do it. The problem is Google Hangouts is gonna go away in September. So we're gonna have to go to another format if we want to do a Hangout, which is not really a big deal. Okay. Almost out of paint, so before we get started, let's fill the cup back up. So we're up to 4 fluid ounces of paint so far. Probably going to take about 8. Which is really only 4 because it's mixed, well, less than that. 3 because it's mixed 60-40. Now, these painting videos are rather boring for the simple fact they move so slow. I mean, not much I can do about that. Yes, I have a respirator. No, I'm not using it. If you're a young guy, my best advice is to use a respirator. I've been doing this so long, I'm not dead yet, so I'm not too worried about it. The fan is more or less sucking the fumes away. Well, that looks fair. Hopefully I can get it in this vise without knocking the other one off. This will get another coat. But first I want to make sure that I have enough paint to do the top. All right. That just dry enough to turn over and do the top. Now, if you were here, you could see that there's some type of little hairs or something there. It's not quite dry enough. We're going to wait a minute, and I'll take some 600 paper or 1200 and knock those hairs off, because I don't want to bury all that in the paint, which really doesn't much matter either, then again. So, as I said, I weighed the airplane. It was 52.8 ounces before starting this. I would imagine that this is going to add about an ounce. All this paint back here. And an ounce that far back from the center of gravity is a ton. Let's get a piece of paper. Okay, I've got a piece of 600 wet dry. It's really not quite dry enough to really sand. It's not going to powder off, but what I want to do is I want to knock off the dirt that's on there. So we're not really sanding, I'm just knocking the dirt off. Don't do as I do as I say. This is not right. Try to keep the dirt off of it. So that basically knocked the dirt off. Whatever's there, we'll bury it in the paint. Now what's going to happen is after I get this top side painted, we'll probably cut the video. We'll wait about 2 hours. I'm going to tape off the back. We'll come back and spray the orange. So this video series will be in quite a few sessions of an hour or so apiece. Now we got the dirt off. Do this side. Didn't have much over here. A couple spots. It probably should have been tack rag, but I don't have one of those either. Like, subscribe, share. If you can, there'll be a donate button. Donate to the cause. This website's killing me. All right. So, I have that all knocked off. We'll get ready to paint the top side. So we're down about half the cup again. We're going to refill it. Looks like we might have to fill up the jar here. I've got this stuff really thinned down because I don't have much white. I think I have enough left to do this job. And remember, it does not have to be refrigerator white. It just has to be covered. Here's the areas here that I told you to pay attention to, right around the corners, the leading edge, and where the stabilizer meets the fuselage. Now, if we were painting urethane, it wouldn't much matter, because a coat of clear urethane on this thing will just cover up all these mistakes. And you wouldn't have to worry about it. But we're using dope. It's very forgiving, but it doesn't have much thickness to it. So you have to have the surface prepared, like I've explained on chroming. Chroming is not a coating. It's a coating. It's a treatment where the chrome is only 50 millionths thick. It's like nothing. So the surface underneath it already looks chrome before it's put in the tank. That's why you don't see any drip off the end. It looks good. We did our job right. And I've spent more time on these than I spent on my other projects, but this airplane was put together right in the first place. Finish starts with the first piece of wood cut. You'll notice there's not a big bunch of gaps and shit I had to fill. We're going to do the second coat on the elevator stabilizer. And we might get by with this run. That's good. And this will be it. I mean, we're not anything else is you're just wasting paint, carrying around extra weight. We just want it covered. I'll get my drill press vise here. You'll notice that's not a windy coat. A little thing right there we could sand out. Not today. We'll just get her done there. So today I sprayed 8 ounces of paint on it, which is 4 ounces of color approximately and 4 ounces of thinner. And that covered that pretty well. Let me get this spot here. Whoopsie. At least I didn't put my hand through the silk there. So we're gonna run out this paint, and that's the end of that. I guess I could put a little thinner with it to lock it in, to bond it. Yeah, it's out. I'm spraying at about 15 pounds pressure. That's probably too much for HVLC, but it is what it is. That's where it works best. So stay tuned. We'll wait probably an hour or so. I have to. This paint has to be tape free. By tape free, I mean that's when you can lay the tape down and not risk leaving a mark. Dope usually takes about an hour to become tape free, and we're going to tape a line right here in an arc and tape all this off. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to spray all this orange, and then the red trim and the black trim and the blue canopy, and there'd be a lot of busyness going on. So, but that's the end of the white. I'm pretty sure I got. There might be a little touch up here and there. I see a spot. I don't know what the heck's going on with that piece of dirt. Maybe I can't do anything until it's dry. I'll go back when it's dry and doctor up any of the spots. But it looks fairly well. Like I say, you want to look in here, and when you're painting these, you'll notice I didn't lay a ton of paint in the fillets and on that seam. Try not to paint on it. Just let the overspray go on it. Don't run back and forth, because what happens is dope never stops shrinking, and no matter what, when you have an arc like this and you're painting inside here, if it's shrinking, it's trying to straighten out, and so it'll lift right out of that fillet, and you can't get out of it. There's just nothing that will stop it. So try not to put too much paint in there. Now, if you're using urethane, it really doesn't much matter. Any of the car paints, the single stage, the base coat, clear coat, because it doesn't shrink. But the problem is it's very heavy. So, I've heard people tell me, well, I use chroma this or chroma base color car. I painted an airplane one time over at the body shop with car paint, and they ended up throwing the airplane out because it just ruined it. Absolutely killed it. What are you going to do? So, come back in about an hour. I'll announce it on the forum, and we'll start the orange. Maybe 2 hours. We'll start the orange, and we'll see you again. Fair winds, tight lines.